So, bear with me. I would like to start off by praying, so can you please stand?
Praise God. Glory. We worship you, Lord, because you are God Almighty.
Thank you for the grace and the mercies, mighty God. Thank you for letting us be here today, mighty God. Lord, thank you for giving me this opportunity, mighty God, to speak to your people, mighty God. Please let me calm down on the nervous next, mighty God. Lord, let you speak through me, mighty God, and let them not sit on the word, but mighty God, but let them go home and meditate on it, mighty God. Let them get something from it and apply it to their lives, mighty God. In the name I pray.
Amen.
You may be seated.
Amen.
Okay, so everyone knows the book of Daniel 3 about the three Hebrew boys, but I'm going to just summarize it for you. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are the three Hebrew boys, or the figures from chapter 3. So we all know that they were thrown into the fire furnace by the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, because they did not bow down to the king's image. But when they refused to bow down, the boys were preserved from harm in the fire because God was in the midst. And today my topic will be, in the midst of the fire, God is there. And it doesn't have to mean the fire only, but it can be in the midst of your circumstances, in the midst of your pain, in the midst of your trials, God is there.
Glory.
So when the boys were thrown into the fire, and Nebuchadnezzar was wondering what was happening, because when you throw someone into the fire, what do you expect to happen? Them burning, them screaming for them life. But no, they saw a fourth image. So you know, Nebuchadnezzar, his mind was going crazy, because he was just like, what's happening? Like, why are they not screaming? And then he saw a fourth person. And he was like, okay, let me take them out. So amazed by this, King Nebuchadnezzar called them forth out of the fire, and acknowledged that their God is the true and only God, and that kept and delivered them from the fire. So my people of God, there might be circumstances where you don't know what's going to happen. God tells you to do something, and you're very confused about it, but just do it anyways and trust in the Lord. And this story tells us that we should stand up for what is right and what we believe in. Although it may seem like Jesus is not there with us, he is always there through the midst of the fire. And it also shows that when the three Hebrew boys were thrown into the fire, you can see that they had faith. You can see that they trusted in God. Because when you trust in God, he will work a way out for you. He will deliver you from the fire.
Amen.
Yes. They knew the consequences of what was going to happen. They knew that they would die. They knew that if they disobeyed him, this would happen. But you see, when you believe and when you trust in God, despite the circumstances, despite all the things that's going to happen to you, God will deliver you when you stand up for him. And we should not be afraid to stand up for him, because you know that he will deliver you from whatever you are going through.
Amen.
It also shows us that we will suffer persecution, trials, and challenges in our Christian walk. But not only in our Christian walk, in our homes, in our schools, maybe in our church, in our workplaces. But when you stand up for God, knowing the consequences, knowing that the hatred you get, knowing that the friends you lose, knowing that everything is going to crumble down, knowing that everything is going to crumble down, he will deliver you. And trust me, God will tell you to do things and it may look stupid. It may look like, God, what you have said, this don't make no sense. When God tells you to do this, you're just like, God, no, I hope it's fine if I do this. No. When you trust in him, because he knows the present, he knows the past, and he knows the future. He was the one that created you. He was the one that made you, and he has destined you for good things in life.
Amen.
And sometimes it is a test. It's a test to see that God is just like, okay, are you going to trust me or are you going to give up on me? Sometimes it's a test, and you must learn to have faith and pass that test.
Amen.
Okay, I'm going to share a testimony. 3 weeks ago, when I had my 6-weekly exams, it's called progress test, and the night before I was having so much mental breakdowns, all because I had a project to do and everything was just piling upon me. And I was just like, okay, it's not going to work out. I'm just going to fail all of these tests because I believe that when you start out bad on a test, you're just going to fail the rest. So I was just like, okay, I went into the exams, I did my exams, and it was very nerve-wracking because I didn't feel as I did great. I didn't feel confident as normally as I usually would. But believe me, saints, when I got back my report 2 days ago, it was good. And that was because I trusted in God and I had faith, and I'm like, okay, God, I will let you control this. I will let you control my life. And when we stand up for God, He will come through for us. And He will never leave us nor forsake us. And you know, sometimes when you're going through your trials, okay, so I'm going to give an example. So when, like say, I'm at school and I'm doing my work and my teacher walks in and says, okay, we're going to write an essay about how evolution created the earth, or that's how the earth was formed. And if you stand up for what you believe in, knowing myself, okay, I'm a Christian, and I'm afraid to talk to him about that I'm a Christian and saying that I do not believe that this is right and this is wrong. I believe that God created the earth. It's not made from evolution. And you know, if you go and put your foot forward and you tell him there are other people that really want to stand up and say the same thing that you are believing in. And when you put your first foot out, my saints, they will help you, and the curriculum can be changed because you are the leader, because you decided to put your foot out, because you had trust in God, and He was like, okay, you were not ashamed of me, you trusted in me, and okay, the curriculum will be changed. In the midst of your circumstances, in the midst of whatever is going through, have trust in God. And I am going to share a quote with you as I close. It says, God's way is better than your way. His plans are bigger than your plan. His dream for your life is more rewarding, more fulfilling, better than you have ever dreamed of. Now stay open and let God do it. God do it His way. Thank you.
Amen.